Kimi Antonelli has been very, very solid on his debut in Formula 1. His first 3 Grand Prix, in my opinion, have gone really well. Maybe China was a little bit hit and miss, you know. He could have potentially got past, was it Tsunoda? I think it was Yuki Tsunoda for a higher position. But he did set some interesting records this weekend in Japan, and being a real bright spark in what was not a particularly great Grand Prix to watch. Anybody who was up early on Sunday morning like I was this weekend in the UK will of course not remember this race very fondly, or remember it at all, to be honest, despite how incredible Max Verstappen was throughout the weekend. Now, Max Verstappen did of course set a record of his own. He became the first driver in Formula 1 history to win 4 Japanese Grand Prix in a row, breaking the record that Michael Schumacher held jointly with himself before this. 3 in a row for Schumacher between 2000 and 2002, I believe was that. Ever since the Japanese Grand Prix returned to the calendar in 2022 after the pandemic, Verstappen has won every race, and I believe he's got every single pole position as well, so he's been on fire. But let's not talk about Verstappen, because he's an experienced competitor at this point, 4-time Formula 1 champion. Let's have a look at one of the many rookies here, because there's some interesting stats regarding Kimi Antonelli. Now, of course, Kimi Antonelli is on for breaking certain records, but he's already matched some of them as well. An interesting one with Sir Lewis Hamilton, the guy that Antonelli has effectively replaced at Mercedes, despite what Toto Wolff says, he has replaced him indirectly at least. He's become the first Formula 1 rookie since Sir Lewis Hamilton to score points in all of his first 3 Grand Prix. Now, I know there'll be some people saying, oh, well, but it's easier nowadays. You can just be in the top 10 and you can score points. That's no big deal. Well, Antonelli has still finished in the top 8 of every single race he's been in, which is exactly what Hamilton did as well. Albeit, I think Hamilton actually finished on the podium in his first 6 or 7 races. Then again, he was also in a McLaren, which was undoubtedly one of the 2 fastest cars on the grid that year. Mercedes, I would wager, are either 3rd or 4th fastest overall, probably around 3rd, I would say. I think they're faster than Ferrari, but maybe not as fast as Red Bull, at least in the hands of Max Verstappen anyway. But yeah, Kimi Antonelli becoming the first driver to do that. And we've seen some incredible rookies over the years join the sports. I mean, think about all the drivers that have joined Formula 1 since 2007. Think about all the drivers on the grid now. The vast majority of them would have made their debut after Sir Lewis Hamilton. In fact, I don't think there's many other than Alonso. I think Alonso might be the only one who made his debut before Hamilton, all the way back in 2001. I don't think anybody else made their debut before. So every single other driver on the grid, they've all had an opportunity to do that. And even though they've had an opportunity within the top 10 to do that, Antonelli has done that. So I think that's an incredible record that he's matched. Obviously, it's not on the same level of being on the podium every single time like Hamilton was, but I think he's very much got a chance of getting a podium very soon as well, has Antonelli. He's really impressed me, and that is a record that he has matched with Sir Lewis. He did outright break some records, though, of course, as well. So he became the youngest race leader in Formula 1 history. Now, of course, he did stay out on the medium tyres longer than anybody else. He didn't lead the race outright, you know. At that point, the net lead of the race was still for Max Verstappen, but it was so impressive how he managed to run competitively on those medium tyres for well over half the race distance, and led because of it as well. And his pace at that time was so good that it did actually keep Sir Lewis Hamilton behind, despite Hamilton being on faster medium tyres. I think he actually ran longer than Hamilton did on the hards, who started on the hards, of course. So that is very good, of course. And on top of that as well, he has also become the youngest driver in the history of Formula 1 to set a fastest lap too. I think the drivers before that held those records were Max Verstappen on both occasions, although do correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys. I think a record that he has missed out on, though, because he did it all in the same race, did Verstappen, fastest lap, laps, possibly podium as well, but also race victory, Max Verstappen. He broke all those records at the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix. And yeah, he's unfortunately, Antonelli will not be able to break those records, because I believe by the time we start in Bahrain this weekend, Antonelli will have become older than what Verstappen was at that point. I remember hearing that through this week, and again, correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys, but 2 outright records broken by Antonelli this weekend. Seriously impressive in my opinion. But what's your opinion of Kimi Antonelli so far in Formula 1? Overrated or very much living up to the hype? I want to hear what you have to say. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to hear more like this, and if you want to see another video on Kimi Antonelli, I'll link it at the end of this video, guys. See you soon for more content like this. Have a fantastic day. Hope you had a great weekend and didn't fall asleep during the Japanese Grand Prix. See, we're finding some highlights even though it wasn't a particularly great race. See you soon, guys. Have a good